One of the things I often get asked is, what do I practice when I sit down at the piano? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you a really useful chord warm-up routine that I do every day. And the reason why I think you're going to love it, it begins to open up so many doors on the piano in terms of being able to improvise and get a little bit of creativity into your playing. Let's dive in. To make sure you get the most out of today's lesson, make sure you download your free PDF lesson book. It includes the notation, sheet music, and backing tracks for every step of this video. You can download it now using the link in the video description. It's completely free. So let me just give you a quick blast of what this chord warm-up actually sounds like when I play it through. Sounds so beautiful, doesn't it? It's almost got like a hymn-like quality to it, this warm-up. There's some little folky influences in there, like, particularly on this top, that little smudge note. I'll take you through exactly what's going on in a minute, but just kind of get the sound. I love playing this warm-up. It's so beautiful. Well, what I'm actually doing is I'm using a tool called the circle of fifths or the circle of fourths. Some people call it the cycle of fifths, the cycle of fourths. It doesn't really matter what you call it, but it's essentially a way of organizing all of the notes in the chromatic scale, all of the notes on the piano. And basically, around the circle, if you go clockwise around the circle, each note is separated by a fifth. So it goes C at the top, then G, then D, then A, then E, and so on. That's if you're going clockwise. And if you're going anti-clockwise, it goes C, then F, then B flat, then E flat, then A flat, and all of this kind of thing. Now, what I'm doing is I'm taking one particular chord round the cycle, and I'm actually going anti-clockwise. This is why this exercise is quite complicated, because I'm using so many different keys. It's not like we're just playing in one key, using the main chords in a key. We're going through every single possible key. We're going through all 12. So to start off with, I'm going to simplify what I'm doing, okay? We're just going to take one chord shape around the circle, okay? And we're going anti-clockwise around the circle. So it's going to go C, F, B flat, E flat. And all of the chords are going to be major triads. That's all we're using for the moment. And our chord shape is going to be the root in our left hand, okay? So we're going to start at the top, which is a C. We're going to put the root in our left hand. And then in our right hand, we're going to just play two other notes. We're going to play the fifth of the chord, which in the case of C is a G. And then it's going to be an E in our little finger up the top. So we've got a sixth interval here. And it's just a C major triad, okay? We've got the fifth, the third of the chord, and the root. There it is. That's our shape. So if we move one step round the circle, we go anti-clockwise, we then go to F. So I'm going to play the root of F in my left hand, then the fifth in my right hand, and the third there. So there's that shape. All I've done is I've transposed the shape from C directly up to F. If I go round the cycle again, anti-clockwise from F, we get B flat, which is there, the root, the fifth, the third again. And then we go once more to E flat. You can see this is quite hard because you're constantly having to switch, okay, in your head. There's that E flat one, E flat in the left hand, B flat, the fifth in our right hand thumb, and then the third in our little finger. So far we've got this. One way to break this down is to only think about four chords at a time. So far we've done C, F, B flat, and E flat, okay? If you look at where they are on the circle of fifths, I sometimes think of the circle of fifths a little bit like a clock. If you look, we've got 12 different things around the outside edge, very, very similar to a clock. And we've kind of done the last 15 minutes, okay? We've done C, F, B flat, and E flat. It's like we've gone backwards 15 minutes. Let's do the next batch of 15 minutes going back in time. Hopefully this makes sense. It goes E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat. Okay, that's the next batch. So what would that look like with those voicings? Well, E flat would be here. There it is. Then A flat, then D flat, and then G flat. I'm going to keep on going. Don't forget, you can pause the video, you can rewind it, you can do the thing where you slow it down, that little gear icon in the corner, if you want to really see what I'm playing. But keep on going. We're going to do the next 15 minutes, which is G flat, B, E, A, okay? And then lastly, A, D, G, C. And we're back where we started. Really sorry to interrupt the video. I just wanted to show you something super exciting that arrived in the post this morning. Check this out. They've literally just arrived. If I point them down like that, you might be able to see it. So I'm not very good with the camera. There we go. Theory for Rock and Pop Musicians, a practical introduction to contemporary music theory. These are 2 books that I've written. There it is. It takes you through everything you need to know about music theory. I spent the best part of 2 years writing these books, and I kind of wanted it to be an essential guide for anyone who just kind of feels that they have gaps in their knowledge. I know when I was starting out learning the piano and I was doing things by ear, I felt all the time like I was just missing so many bits of the fundamentals of music theory. So I basically set about writing the books that I didn't have when I was learning piano. One of the things I really like about them actually is they've got these really cool little QR codes which you can scan, and it will take you to a playlist with a bunch of songs all about the concept that you're looking at. So that's really cool. I also went into a recording studio with some amazing professional musicians, and we recorded tracks to go along with every single exercise, so you can kind of listen to a band playing it and kind of work things out by ear. Anyway, I just wanted to show you them here on the channel, so yeah, there they are again. I'm super excited by them. Maybe we'll even do some giveaways here on the channel as well. They come out on August the 27th on Amazon. The link to pre-order is already out, and I think if you buy them through the publisher themselves, which is Trinity College London Press, they're actually doing a deal at the moment where you get a certain percentage off on your first order. So yeah, go ahead and check them out. I think you'll find them really useful. Okay, back to the video. I'm gonna play the whole thing through so you can kind of get a sense of how it works. There's like 4 different batches of chords, okay? For each 15 minutes, we're going backwards around the clock. Okay, here we go. There's the first section, okay? We play E flat again, and then we go the next 15 minutes from E flat. There it is. Now from G flat again, let's jump all the way down here. And then the last one, back to A. All the way back to C. We've gone the whole way around the circle. Now the next stage is to play 2 chords on each of the places around the circle. So rather than just playing C and then jumping straight to F, we're going to play a different kind of C chord. And it's going to sound like this. So did you spot what I was doing there? I was using an inversion to get us to that next chord. So rather than just doing a sort of abrupt change, which is very kind of, it's quite sort of jarring in a way. It's like, here we are, there we are. I'm finding a little pathway for the chord to go. And I'm just using an inversion of C. There it is, okay. So now we've got the third in the bass, okay, the E. The E is the third of C, so we've now got the third in the bass there. And we've then got the root in our right hand and the 5th as well, okay. So we've got that shape. So we're moving from there to there. And if I play the whole thing, I keep on going, there's that first inversion on F. Do you see that there? We've got the third of F there, the root and the 5th. If I keep it going, I'll play the whole thing now so you can hear it. I'll do it a little bit slower just so you can really see those details. Suddenly, it sounds like music. It's such a small little change. It's just adding one extra little chord. It's essentially a version of what we've already played. Crucially, what has changed is we've now got a melody in our right hand. We've looked at a bunch of these things on the channel before, where you can think of your little finger in your right hand as a melody note. So before, without that little shift, without that, when we were just playing the original voicings going round, our melody note was this. That doesn't sound like a melody at all. But now, that suddenly could be a melody. If I add in the chords underneath, it just immediately becomes music. So I'm going to do the whole thing all the way around the circle. Now remember, we're going anti-clockwise, okay? I'll talk you through it as we go. So here's C. So we've ended up at E flat. We're now going to jump down and do the same thing from E flat. So we're now at G flat. We're halfway around the circle. Let's jump down. Let's jump all the way down here, I think. There it is. And then just the last batch. Beautiful. I'm going to add in one tiny little embellishment to this exercise that just kind of takes it up a gear again. So whenever we move to a new chord, so say we start on the C, we then do our inversion. Whenever we move to a new chord here, the root position chord, so in this case F, I'm going to smudge. Do you see that? The top notes, I smudge. It's actually the second I'm playing here. I'm smudging the second of F, which is a G, up to the third. I might do it on the C as well. I might do it on every chord. See that? I mean, you don't have to necessarily do it on every chord. You can kind of pick and choose where and kind of use it as a bit of an effect. But it's just a way to add a little bit more movement and kind of give it a bit more character rather than it just kind of being these block chords. So it's going to sound like this. And just every single time the second is moving up to the third, I'm kind of using my fourth finger to smudge up to the fifth, the second to the third. Okay, I'm going to have a go at playing this through with the backing track. Jump down now. Jump again. Last one. The reason I really love this exercise is it forces you to be specific with the voicings you're using. You're forced to play a root position major chord and a first inversion major chord on every single possible starting note, C, F, B flat, and so on. It really forces you to kind of make sure that you're not glossing over anything. It's quite easy to kind of think you have all your major shapes down, if you know what I mean, or you think you've got all your first inversion shapes down. But if you play this exercise all the way through, they're all covered. You cover every single one. I mean, this is something I do a lot of. If just say I find a voicing I like. Say that chord there, that's a C13 voicing that I like. I'll take that through every single chord around the circle of fifths. And it just means that all bases are covered. And then when I start to use it in a piece of music, I know that I've already got that kind of shape under my fingers because I've covered it when I'm practicing it around the circle of fourths or circle of fifths. So it's a super useful thing to do. And practicing this exercise with those major root position shapes and first inversion shapes is a really great place to start. At the beginning of the video, I promised to show you a few ways that you can get a little bit creative with this and make it your own. Not just practicing things as exercises, but looking at how you can get more creative with them, how you can be free with them, so you can kind of really put your own stamp on it. One of the things I get asked to do by singers if I'm playing with them occasionally is they'll say, can you play an intro before I start? And I'll just know that the song's in C, and I might have a chord chart that's just got a bunch of chords in C, and I have to kind of conjure up something. I might use this kind of exercise and take little bits from it to kind of craft that intro. So let me play you something I might do. Now, I was just playing around there. There was no kind of rhyme or reason to what I was doing. I was just kind of moving shapes. But did you spot little bits in there where I was using this exercise? All I'm doing is I'm moving those shapes about and I'm just letting my fingers go to different places. Because I've got those chords really secure, my hands kind of naturally go there, but you just kind of have to trust yourself and not necessarily plan out what you're going to do. If you're doing this for the first time, you're going to make hundreds and hundreds of mistakes and you're going to play things that don't sound great, but you only kind of get to the point where you can kind of be free with it once you've gone through those hard yards. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, occasionally you're playing 3 notes in your right hand. All I'm doing is I'm adding in that second again. So at the top of the voicing, I've just got that second in there like that. Do you see there? Same there. I'm putting that second in at that point. I'm just playing about with those shapes. I don't have to necessarily play 3 notes in my right hand. It still works if I just play 2. So much fun. Now, there is a lot going on there. I'm mixing up all of the different keys, but what you can do if you want to give yourself a little bit of focus when you're improvising and being creative is just to limit yourself to 4 of the chords. And I'm going to do this now. We're going to do this with just C, F, B flat and E flat, which are the first 4 chords we play in the exercise. Let me have a go at just improvising something using those shapes and just kind of see what I can come up with to give you an idea of where you can take this. I mean, that just kind of gives you a little idea. I'm just using those shapes. I mean, I might have added a couple of extra little ones in there, but you can see how it just begins to create a kind of mood, a kind of landscape to explore when you're improvising. And honestly, these are the shapes I play when I just sit down at the piano, want to get reacquainted and kind of get back in touch. If I maybe haven't played for a while, all of those great things. Give it a go and let me know how you get on. Thanks so much for watching this video. I do hope you found it useful. Don't forget to grab that free PDF lesson book. The link is in the video description. And if you enjoyed this video, I think you're going to love this one up here, which breaks down my ultimate piano warm-up routine. Go give that video a click, and I'll see you over there.